Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Review. My name is Eric, and today we're going to go over the fight between the Super Friends and the Great Ten on the coast of China in Part 5 of the Final Days of Superman. This episode we're going to go over the events that occurred in Batman Superman number 32. This is the last issue of this particular series. It's also Part 5 of Final Days of Superman. Basically this issue is bringing the Trinity, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman back together for what is most likely going to be their last adventure together, as they try to track down the solar flare Superman that has been seen throughout the last couple of issues of this series. So let's go ahead and dive right into the issue. We open up with some conversations between the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, kind of recounting the fact that they cannot figure out where the solar flared Superman went from the previous issue that escaped from the Arcus facility. They did call in Batman, and he was able to track Superman's solar flare energy signature to China. So they're on their way over there. Anybody who's been keeping up with this series knows that Dr. Omen, who's been experimenting with what's most likely going to be the Chinese Superman from the Superman series that's going to be coming out, she's been operating out of China. So most likely that's going to be tying in here during this issue, as you'll find out. You also get some touching moments in the beginning of this issue between Bruce, Diana, and Clark. Basically, in a couple of panels, a couple pages, just establishing that these three people are friends. They've been through a lot together over the years, and I've said it before in other videos. I'm really sad that we're almost finally getting some relationship building between all these characters during what is essentially New 52 Superman's final event. So it's kind of sad, but it's good to see nonetheless. On the way to China, the Super Friends, as Clark dubs them during the course of this issue, they get attacked by the Great Ten, which I believe was more of a Grant Morrison creation during, I want to say 52. I'm not 100% sure about that. Any of my 10 loyal viewers who want to correct me on that, let me know in the comments. I really have not done much research on that team. So, but regardless, a fight breaks out between both groups. During the fight, Superman is showing more signs of the kryptonite poisoning that's going on in him. His eyes are glowing more green than they have been any other time. More signs of the kryptonite poisoning on his body itself. So you definitely see that even over the course of the last 4 issues of this storyline, that things are starting to very much take their toll on the Man of Steel. He's just getting weaker, succumbing to the sickness and the poisoning that's affecting him, which is showing throughout this fight. One of the members of the Great Ten loses a talisman that he had that kept his rage in check. Superman is able to get him his talisman back during the fight, which probably ends the fight. Everyone kind of agrees, okay, if these guys are helping us during the midst of a fight, then they are definitely not invading China. The Trinity is able to finally tell the Great Ten where exactly they're going. They track the energy signature of the Fall of Superman to the Loess Plateau, where Dr. Omen's doing her experiments. The Great Ten offers to escort them there personally. When they get there, they speak with Dr. Omen. She basically establishes that the fake Superman is actually not there in her laboratory, that she actually reveals that she is experimenting with a new kind of super being, and you find out that her experiments and everything, probably one of the reasons why she needed the blood back in part 2 and 3 from Superman during the fight in part 2, and it got delivered in part 3, was that she was working on her own Superman that didn't have the same limitations as the other super functionaries do. So she reveals that she has been using the residual energy from whatever Superman has used his solar flares in the past to help power and create this new super being. You see him, he's got a different kind of S and everything. Still in the shadows and whatnot, but again, through just looking at solicitations of the books coming out for Rebirth, you kind of get the idea that this is the new Superman that's going to be showing up in Rebirth, the one of Chinese descent. So during the conversations with the Trinity and the Great Ten, Dr. Omen actually releases this Superman. He flies off, and before anybody's able to track them, the Great Ten says, no, we're going to go track them. This is an internal Chinese matter. we don't need the help of the Trinity to go find this individual. So the Great 10 leave to go look for this new version of Superman, while the Trinity says they're going to go ahead and continue their search for the fake Superman that they lost back at the Argus facility. So they're going to be looking for him throughout the next issue. This issue ends, though, with the fake Superman showing up in Metropolis and meeting up with Lois Lane. So we haven't seen her since part 1 of this series, where Superman basically asked her to write the last Superman story, essentially writing about him and Clark Kent. So she's at her home and everything, and all of a sudden this fake Superman just flies down and wants to speak with her. So that's kind of where we're left off at the end of this. We don't know what his motivations are in this case. He is coming off with a happy demeanor, although he has murdered many people while in that happy demeanor. So who knows what's going to go on with that. This issue is going to continue into Action Comics number 52, which will again be the last issue of that particular series. So just be on the lookout for that, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you enjoy this issue? Again, this is kind of another shorter issue as far as the storyline goes. It didn't really move the plot forward that much. The last issue and this issue, we're kind of getting things where, because of the fact that this is an 8-part series, these middle parts are starting to become like they're just expanded fight scenes with very little substance to the actual ongoing part of the story. So I want to say this issue is probably one of the weaker issues of this series so far. Really didn't build the plot as much, but we'll see what happens in the next part. Next week is part 6, again, going to be in Action Comics number 52. From the cover, it does look like it's going to be the first meeting between the New 52 Superman and the pre-Flashpoint Superman, who's been living on the New 52 Earth for the last, 5-10 years now. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that interaction is between those two characters. I can't wait to see what goes on with that. So let me know in the comments what you think about what you thought about this issue in particular, what you think about New 52 Superman and pre-Flashpoint Superman meeting up, and yeah, just any of your comments about this series so far as a whole. I mean, we're 5 issues in, and it's definitively looking like this is going to be the actual final days of Superman. So just let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time for part 6 of Final Days of Superman. Later.